Beverage with Blighty.
That's me.
Well, hello lovers of beverage. Today we're going to do a reaction video to Jon Taffer, the guy from Bar Rescue. Jon Taffer presents himself as a leading authority on bars, and he has said a lot of ridiculous and wrong things over the years. And this is an object lesson, I think. So take what anyone says, but check it out. Don't just accept what I tell you in these videos. Go check it out. See if I'm right, and let me know if I'm wrong. Just put it in the comments. Say, hey, you didn't do this right. And in the interest of being correct, which I like to do, we'll look it up and we'll make changes when we need to. So we're going to get into Jon Taffer making a really, really bad Manhattan. All right. We've got one Manhattan here, so that's great. Now we're going to watch the clip of Jon Taffer, apparently on the Meredith Vieira show, and this was in 2016, I guess. We'll see how that goes.
Congratulations, 100 episodes of Bar Rescue, yeah.
100 episodes.
Wow, that's a milestone, baby.
That is a milestone.
Oh my gosh, you get very animated. I mean, you passionate about this because you go in there to literally rescue bars that are failing, and you've seen some horrific things along the way. What's some of the most terrifying stuff you've seen that we should know about?
Oh, we've seen animals running through bars. We've seen feces in bars, bugs in bottles. But probably one of the worst things that we see is glass and ice.
Glass in ice?
What a bartender will do is they'll scoop the ice out with a glass.
Right.
Yeah,
And
don't
then
do
you
that.
don't know
I
what
hate
is
that.
ice and what is glass. So if you don't see them do it, you don't know that there's glass in an ice.
You mean because the glass may have broken?
So they'll scoop it and then you'll drink it.
Jeez.
So these
All
little
right.
things.
That's actually a very valid thing. That is one of the things that I hate the most. When I was working behind the bar, I would have lots of other bartenders. Certainly not all of them. I worked with a lot of great people. But many people just scoop right into the well with the glassware. And he's right. There's no way to tell if there is ice in your ice well, especially at places that never burn their ice. So he said one thing correct. So I guess we're batting 1,000 so far.
So these little things, can cause people to get sick.
Yeah,
so I take it very seriously.
So is there
Or
a
die.
safe drink to order at a bar where you don't have to worry about that?
Well, pick a bar that you shouldn't have to worry about.
Right.
But a bottle of beer is always the safest.
Okay.
But if you're not sure, just get a straight spirit in a glass because the alcohol tends to disinfect itself.
Okay.
But
Okay.
even orange juice can get
No, that's not true at all. Most alcohol is 80 proof. The stuff you're just pouring out, some whiskeys will be higher proof. But as we now know, in all of the COVID times, 40% alcohol is what you need to disinfect things, or is not what you need to disinfect things. That's what beverage alcohol is, 40%. And the CDC recommends 90% alcohol, which would be 180 proof. So I guess if you were ordering Everclear at the bar, it might sanitize itself. So 1 for 2.
Okay.
Even orange juice can get you sick. Right?
Jeez.
Anything that has sugar in it or protein in it can get
You're
you
a
sick.
killjoy, John. You really are.
After a few drinks, you don't care to go
Exactly.
there.
That's my motto. Well, you've owned 17 bars around the country in your time. Anything you did back in the day that would have landed you on this show? And be honest, yeah.
Maybe a couple. One comes to mind. Many years ago, I took over the Troubadour in Hollywood, California, which is a famous rock and roll nightclub, and the kitchen was flooded with about 4 inches of water, and we didn't have the money to fix it, so we threw
Happens.
pallets on the floor, and we all walked above this lake with sludge and slime running through it, and we just sort of operated that way for a while.
No, you can't do that.
Wow, because
I would have shut it down.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's a health violation. I have a dilemma in my own home bar that I need you to help me with. Can we go over there? My husband loves Manhattans.
Oh.
He says I don't make them well, so... All right.
All right, here we go.
All right. Some people, including my husband, say sometimes I put a little bit too much whiskey in the Manhattan.
All right. I'm assuming that they said you're going to make a Manhattan on TV, so most of this is just for looks, I guess. I don't think she was probably just going to come up with a random drink. I guess he's set up for the look of TV. He does have the stuff for a Manhattan here, so we'll see how he does.
People, including my husband, say sometimes I put a little bit too much whiskey in the Manhattan. So tell me how to do it.
Well, a Manhattan is a real classic cocktail.
Yes.
And it starts where you take a piece of orange zest
What? No.
and a cherry.
No, what?
And
No.
Yep.
Oh, a recipe. Okay, let's look at the recipe. 2 ounces of rye whiskey, oh geez, this is a disaster already. Recipes need to be either given in exact measurements of what you're going to make, which you often see something that'll be like 2 ounces of this, a half ounce of this, 3/4 of an ounce of that, and that all makes sense. You can follow that like a recipe card, just like when you're cooking. The other thing you can do, and you will often see, is parts, because different parts of the world use different measurements, and you often want to maybe make different sizes of cocktail. So you are going to list your recipe in parts, which are ratios. You would have something like 1 part vermouth to 2.5 parts whiskey, and something like that. So whatever you made, you would have 1 part of vermouth, so you could have 1 ounce of vermouth, and in that case you would have 2.5 ounces of whiskey. This recipe lists 2 ounces of rye whiskey, and the next line says 1 part of sweet vermouth. So you do not know how to make that drink. You don't know what a part is, and it's not in a ratio. Does that mean 1 ounce of sweet vermouth? If it does, that would be a fairly weak Manhattan. The classic recipe is 1 part vermouth to 2.5 parts whiskey. So this would be a little light on the whiskey. Maybe Meredith's husband would like that. Maraschino cherries. Well, you need a maraschino cherry for a garnish. That's it. I don't know what the orange peel is for at all. And Angostura bitters, you definitely need that, and ice.
And a couple of drops of bitters.
All right, well,
Okay.
that's the right amount of bitters.
Get your muddler.
Muddler.
I don't, oh my
Let's
God.
muddle that up.
Nope, oh.
I don't have a muddler. Should I get one?
You muddle pretty well, I've got to tell you.
What?
Yep.
What's he
Why'd you
doing?
leave
Now-
the stem in?
Let's put a little ice in there because you see, we're going to
Oh.
Why do you do it
strain.
that way?
Oh.
All right.
He has an ice scoop, but he's putting ice in the scoop with his hand. Then he's gonna mix a drink with it and serve it to you after the ice has been in his hand? All right.
Put it that way. All right.
No glass, right?
Yeah. That
Nope,
way.
just germs.
Okay.
You don't wait for your alcohol, I can see.
No, I do not.
Okay, now we're going to take our whiskey,
Yep.
Good.
fill your jigger, about 1.5 ounces or so.
Is
Ounce
that
and a half?
Top of this thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But wait, 1.5 ounces? His recipe that he put up said 2 ounces. Now he's only putting 1.5 ounces in? Is he just making this up as he goes? What?
That in? Stir it up.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
feel like too, Meredith.
That's not very much.
Now you don't want to bruise it, Meredith. You just want to
A
stir
bruise
it
what?
elegantly, gracefully.
Okay,
There we
whatever.
go. Strain it in, and you notice the stem of the cherry is not going into the.
Okay, couple thoughts here. One, he didn't stir that long enough because you need to stir a cocktail for 25 or 30 seconds to get the proper chill on it, so that's not going to be cold enough. And I think what he's doing actually is something that I see a lot. People who don't know what a Manhattan is, you go into a bar and the bartender won't know what a Manhattan is, and he might think it's an old-fashioned. The two get conflated for... I really don't know why. They're not really the same sort of thing. They're both whiskey cocktails, and they're both kind of old-fashioned. The old-fashioned is a drink where you actually do muddle an orange peel and then put whiskey on it, and it's just whiskey and the muddled orange and a little bit of bitters with some sugar, and you will, and just enough water, a few drops of water to dissolve the sugar into the whiskey. And that cocktail was the old-fashioned whiskey cocktail back in the day, and it morphed over the decades into kind of what he's doing. People would throw like a whole orange slice, not even just a peel like he did, but like a whole section of orange with the pulp and the juice and the flesh of the fruit there, and a cherry, and then muddle and crush that up into just like a fruit cocktail syrup slurry. And then they put some bitters on that and throw some sugar in it and stir that around until the sugar dissolved in that fruit juice cocktail. So you'd actually get what was like the syrup from a Dole cocktail cup. I mean, just super sweet. And then they'd put whiskey on that, and they would call that an old-fashioned. Don't do that. Maybe one of these days we'll do an old-fashioned episode as well. So I think maybe he thinks a Manhattan is an old-fashioned, but he's not even really making a proper old-fashioned, so, all right. Okay.
Some of the cherry is not going into the cocktail.
Straining
okay.
that, good. Boy, that is a short drink. Maybe he should have put more than an ounce and a half.
One more.
Okay.
Oh, and he's,
I know you're not going to drink this today.
No, I don't drink this. My
no,
husband does.
okay. He just dropped the orange peel in there. What you really want is the zest of citrus fruit is in the peel there, and on the outside, not the whole peel. The whole peel can be, with the pith too. You don't want the pith. The pith's very bitter. But the oils are actually just in the skin, the colored part of the citrus, and he just dropped that in there. What you really want to do if you're going to use that as a garnish is squeeze that to express the oil into the drink, because you're going to get a little bit of flavor and a whole bunch of aroma from that, and it'll make the cocktail good. He just dropped it in there, so that didn't really do much, except he has a floating piece of orange peel in his very, very short drink.
But where's
Take a
the...
little sniff.
Oh, jeez. Smells nice.
Smell the orange and the cherry? Mm-hmm. And the bitters?
Yes, I
You
do.
shouldn't smell
yeah.
the cherry.
Don't you put vermouth?
Some people will make the same drink and put 1 or 2 drops of vermouth in it.
I do have
1 or 2
You
drops.
haven't. No wonder why your husband doesn't
Oh,
like
really?
it.
Oh.
The most you would put in is a couple of drops.
Well, she was also not making a good cocktail. I certainly don't know what he's talking about. The same drink with a drop or 2 of vermouth? Are you kidding me? What? The recipe that they put up, I'm assuming he put up on the screen, was 1 part vermouth. I guess that could be a drop. A drop in that recipe could be 1 part. 1 drop of vermouth to 2 ounces of rye whiskey. But no, it's not optional. That's the drink. There is no vermouth in an old-fashioned, so I think maybe he really does think an old-fashioned is a Manhattan. But a Manhattan definitely has vermouth. Otherwise, you're just drinking a glass of whiskey with a muddled cherry in it. Okay.
What you would put in is a couple of drops. We make it this way without the vermouth, and this is a classic way of making
Oh,
it.
well, then I'm going to go
No,
make this now.
absolutely not. Not a classic way of making shit.
Right? Yes. John Taffer, it should be great. Watch Bar Rescue, Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fight TV.
Wow. Okie dokie. That was, as promised, the worst Manhattan that's ever been made on national television. That's terrible. I guess we should probably learn how to make a real one. All right. Cheers. Wow. All right. If you would like to learn how to make a great Manhattan, check out the link right here. Just go to that video and you will be able to make a much better drink, an actual Manhattan that people will like. Maybe I can send this recipe to Meredith Vieira and her husband will be happier. I don't know. But give that video a check and drink a great Manhattan.